Remember, okay, so this is for IM3 bound students that are going to continue this math series. All right, so everybody's please make a Desmos. You know what? Let me just make a teacher one so I can see what you guys are all doing. Give me 1 second. This way I can see, and it won't take me very long at all. I'll make a quick one. This will be super fast. 1 second. Here, I'll make a new activity. I'll make 3 screens, quads, okay, quadas, okay, whatever. Graph, and then another graph, and then, I don't know, some input. Okay, so let me save this, publish. Okay, create class code. So go to the pace, and I will put this in there right now. Desmos activity, and this will be like one of those things where I can see what you guys are up to. So go ahead and do that, please, and then I'll be able to work with you better. I'll fix all those typos later. Okay, so let's see how many of you guys are in. Okay, thank you. We got Shiv, Sophia, Stephen, Nathan are in. Wait for a minute while the rest of you guys coming in. So what we want to do is let's make a standard form function. So type in f of x, that's the name of the function. I'm going to take inputs of x, put a x squared. You could put x squared or you could put xx, x times x, plus bx plus c. So a, b, and c are variables. They can hold certain numbers. Go ahead and press add. I forgot what the question was, but add the variables.
Sliders.
Yes, sliders. Thank you. Yeah, add sliders. Thank you. And so let's test out what C does. Go ahead and move C up and down. What does C do? And C is a representation of a number, like a constant, like plus this, plus that. What does C, the letter C, what does it do to the graph? Does it move it left, right, up, down, wide, skinny? What does it do? Okay, and I should have put a thing where you could type and stuff, but we'll get it going. All right, so everybody's okay with that? With typing in, this is a function. So C moves it up and down. It just adds something to the graph. It just moves it up and it moves it down, okay? What does B do? When B goes to the right, what does... Hey, Mark, go to the pace and follow the Desmos link, and we have to type this function. What does B do? Look at B. B goes kind of funky. If I move it to the right, the graph goes to the left and down. If I move it to the left, it goes to the right and down. It's kind of backwards, but it makes it like go up and down. And notice how it kind of goes up and down over another parabola. All right, last, what does A do? A is the steps, right? Bigger steps, steeper graph. Smaller steps, smaller graph. What about when it's 0? Make A 0. Is that a parabola anymore? And what if it's negative? Okay. All right, let me take a peek to see what you guys are up to. Make sure everybody's on the right page. So you're exploring what A does, what B does, what C does, okay? The way I see it is C moves the graph, it moves the Y's up and down. B kind of moves it funky, like it's kind of hard to tell, but it definitely goes the opposite way, but it also goes down. And then the A makes the steps steeper, okay? All right, so we are going to go ahead and put everything as 1, 1, 1, like Sophia here has. Just put 1, C, A is 1, C is 1. Okay, I'm going to put these in order just for fun. All right, what is the y-intercept here? Can you click on the y-intercept? Now make C become 3 and click on the y-intercept. What is the y-intercept? Make sense? All right, so what I want to do is I want to start graphing it, like pretend that the graph wasn't there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a point. So you're going to have to put parentheses. Oh, before we do that, press on line 5, press plus. There's a little plus button at the top, and press note, like a note. And you're going to put in y-intercept. And you're going to say the x is always 0. Then plug in 0. Okay. So if you just look at my screen, so for the note, you're going to say the y-intercept, x is always 0, then plug in 0 to get the y. So to get the y-intercept, underneath that, you're going to put parentheses, you're going to put 0, comma. Now we're going to plug in 0 by saying f of 0. And that will make a point right on the y-intercept, right on the y of the graph. Now you can, yeah. So look at my screen, and you're gonna press plus, and then you're gonna press a note, just like a little note for yourself, and you're gonna this is just a note, and the y-intercept. And underneath, we're going to make a points. You know, these points you can say 2, 3, 3, 4, or you can say 0, f of 0. And f of 0 means, yo, go plug in 0 into function name f. Okay. So you're going to put parentheses 0, f of 0. This means go plug in 0 into function. And look, it makes me a dot right on the y-intercept. No matter what, the dot moves with it. Okay. Let me get out of this and look at some of your guys' stuff. Okay. All right, Mar, that's a cubic. You want it to be quadratic. So Mar, press the equals. Type in the equals on your function, f of x, put the equal sign right here, right there. Okay. So make sure you have your, yeah, there you go. Good job. Okay. All right, so I want to see everybody's y-intercept. Now in the label, you can click on it and you can say y-intercept, y-int. Or you could type in the word intercept. You could put x is 0. I don't know, maybe that's too much typing for the graph. I think y-intercept is good, right? Okay, next. How do we find the axis of symmetry, the middle of the graph? How do we find the middle of the graph? Now, I know it's right around here in the middle. Okay. Before we do that, let's go to line 7 and press plus, and then do another note. And you can put axis of symmetry. And this is the middle line, the middle line. Okay, I put quotes, the middle, right? All right, how do you find the axis of symmetry? there was a formula that I kind of told you yesterday and then a few weeks ago, and kind of use it a lot. I think Nathan knows it because he did it in his video demonstration. Does anybody know it? Do you remember that one, Nathan? What's the formula to find the line, the vertical? Yes, the opposite of b over 2a. So what we're going to do is we're going to say let's make a new variable called m equals negative b over 2a, and m is going to give us the middle. And then underneath that, we're going to make a line that is, say, x equals m, and it'll make a vertical line right at the middle. And then change it to dashed because it's not really part of the line. And then play with move a and b along. You know, you move a and b, and it'll follow your. No matter what you do to a and b, it'll follow it. It'll follow right in the middle. Okay. Let me see if I got everybody here. Okay, good job. Okay. So m is the middle, right? That's why I call it m, just for fun. I could call it anything, but and then the line x equals m will make a vertical line. Okay. Okay. Next, this is the hard one. How do we find the x-intercepts? Go ahead and click on your x-intercepts. Oops. You're going to have to lower the graph, Sophia, so we can have some x-intercepts. How would you lower your graph? What letter would you have to change? A, B, or C? There you go. You switch your C. Go ahead and click on your x-intercepts. Now, how would we make an equation for that? For those points? And that's actually yesterday's formula. Does anybody remember that formula? Does anybody have it in your notes? Look at your notes from yesterday.
Yeah, I have it in my notes.
Yep. Look at your notes. So let's type it in. Let's type in x1. It'll be the first x-intercept equals. All right. All right. Nathan, what do we got to do to find the first x-intercept? We start where?
Negative b over 2a.
Which we already have, right? We just call it m. Does that make sense? All right. And then what are we going to do to that number? We're going to add something. And what are we going to add to it? Continue that formula, Nathan?
Square root of b.
Right. A. So I'm going to do SQRT, or you guys could type it in. It's in the, you could click on the keyboard. All right. And what's going to be inside the square root, Nathan? Right? The b squared?
Yeah.
And then what else?
Minus 4ac.
4 times a times c. I'm going to put a little time symbol just. You don't need it, the time symbol, but I do want you to see them, right? Okay. So that is our first x-intercept. And what we're going to do is we're going to make a parentheses and put x1, comma 0. And we have to divide it by something, right? Over 2a. So take a look at my screen. So in order to get the first x-intercept, you press x1, right? You can type x2, x3, x4, whatever, right? So basically it's the middle plus this stuff, right? Now, how do we find the other x-intercept? Oh, go ahead and type in under x1, put x-intercept. How do we find the other one? So
copy it and change it to negative.
Yeah, just copy it. I just copy paste and just put, instead of plus, say go to the left. And then you could do x.
And make it x2.
Yeah, oh, x2. Yeah. Thank you. x2, x2, and over here you're gonna say x2, comma 0, and there's my other x-intercept. Okay. All right, let me jump out of here to see what you guys are up to. Okay, so see, so we got the x-intercepts. Got nice. Okay, go ahead and label your x-intercepts. Okay, let's see, Travis. Let me see if we can help you out here. The middle, x equals m. Oh, on Travis, for yours, the square, all the 4ac has to be inside the square roots. What you want to do is you want to go to the 2 and then put minus 4ac. So the 4ac has to be inside the square root, kind of like this. Try that.
You didn't do it with others, though. You didn't do it that with others.
Yeah, I did, but it just didn't look like it. Watch. This is the one I was using right here. It's coming up right now. Give me a second. Right there, see? So it's inside the square root. Everything here is inside the square root. So try that. Let's see, Claudia. Now, notice how the x-intercepts disappear when your graph is, let's see. Claudia, for yours, you want to do m on the outside and then plus, and then it'll say, it's not b2, it's b squared. So it'll be b squared like that. So try that. So it's going to be like x1 equals the middle plus the square root of b squared minus 4 times a times c, then put the right arrow, and then all divided by double of a. Okay. And Claudia, if you can hear me, why do you think on mine it says undefined? Is there any x-intercepts when the graph is floating above the x-axis?
No.
No, there's none, right? So there's none. So the math says, no, there's none. Undefined. Now there will be some right here, watch. See? And then don't forget to type x1 comma 0. And that'll be the x-intercept. You can put x-intercept. X-int. Like that. Okay. Let me take a peek at other people's. Okay. Let's see, Shiv. Let's see, your x-intercepts are they're on the wrong spot. Let's look at your equation. So, Shiv, the 2a is not inside the square root. So you need to get that 2a out of the square root by first erasing it, and then press the right arrow once, and then you put divide by 2a. Can you try that? So first, delete the 2a, then go to the C, and then move to the right one spot, and then you put divide by 2a. So it's the 2a is not inside the square root symbol. All right, let's see everybody else. Okay, Devin. Okay. You have a vertical line here. Oh, so for your vertical line, on your line 10, Devin, type X and then put a 1 right after the X, and that'll be like a point. So type in X1, and then it'll put a little 1 underneath. It'll be like the first X-intercept. Then underneath that, you're going to put a parentheses, which would be X1, which would be the first point, comma 0, because that's the Y. That's the Y. The Y is always 0 on the X-axis. So try that out. Put X1 and then X2 for the other one. All right, let me make sure everybody's good. Steven looks good. Nathan looks good. Nathan, go ahead and make your axis symmetry dashed. And let's see, Hayden. Let's see, Hayden. On your the square root symbol has to include the minus 4ac. So you need to erase the minus 4ac, and then get right next to the b squared and put minus 4ac. So it has to be all inside the little house, the little square root symbol for both of those, and then you'll see. Okay. All right. Yep. There you go. All right, Devin. Go ahead and make your axis of symmetry dashed, and then Travis, if you get it when you finish that one, and 0 and 2, make the axis of symmetry dashed. All right. And then Amar, you're missing the actual formula for the axis of the x-intercept. So what you want to do is say x1 equals the middle plus the square root of b squared minus 4ac, right arrow, all divided by double of a. And that's how you're going to find your x-intercepts. I'm going to lower your graph so you can see some x-intercepts, and you'll start to see them coming up. So look at my screen so you can get this formula right here. Now, I could have done all this and just give it to you guys, but I think it's actually better for you if you type it in, okay? All right, Amar. Yeah, Amar, you need to get that formula in there. You're missing the quadratic formula. This is what this whole week is going to be about, quadratic formula. Okay. And then, Colin, you have one of the x-intercepts, and I need the other. So you need to x2. So you need to make a new formula. x2 equals m minus. So copy your line number 10, copy all that and paste it underneath, and then just change the plus right here. Instead of m minus, it'll be m. I'm sorry, m plus, it'll be m minus. It'll be, you can put it right underneath like this. M minus. Okay. Then you'll have both of your x-intercepts. Okay. Let me see if I. Oh, and then when you copy it, change the 1 to a 2, like Nathan had suggested. Okay. Okay. It looks like most of you are doing good. Okay. All right. Next. So go ahead and let's see, Owen, you're missing the formula for m. So you need to put m equals the opposite of b over 2a. So underneath you can put the middle is the opposite of b divided by double of a. And that'll be your middle of your line. See, it'll make this vertical line right in the middle. So that's the formula you're missing at the. Oh, and one more thing, Owen. The quadratic formula, the square root has to include a and c. So the square root symbol the a and c has to be inside. So you erase it and bring it right next to the 4, so it'll be on both of your equations. Okay. Very good. Okay, fix those. All right, let me go back to Sophia's. All right, next. No matter what you do, the x-intercepts will show up if the graph is above the x-axis. If it's below the x-axis and upside down, so make it upside down by changing the a value to negative. It'll be upside down. So you'll notice there is no more x-intercepts. Okay. All right. Cool. All right, so what we're going to do, we're going to save this. So you have it saved. It'll be in your file forever. Wait, actually, hold up. How am I going to save this? Let me figure out how to save this and then give it to you guys, because you're in my teacher mode and it doesn't really let you save your file. But I will have it for you. Yeah? I'll figure out a way. Okay, on the next screen, we are going to do Very cool. David, by the way, Stephen, this is actually IM3 what you're drawing. So go to screen 2, and this time we're going to do vertex form.
Let's make sure that the second slide doesn't take anywhere near as long as the first slide. Because if we were like doing 4 slides,
yeah, no, we're going to just do
half an hour.
Yeah, let's just do 2 slides today. Okay. All right. So the main thing about slide number 1, everybody, was the quadratic formula. Okay, that's the main thing. And you're like, oh, that's how it gets it. So it doesn't matter as long as it's in standard form. This time we're going to type something in vertex form. And let me grab somebody's equation. So everybody go to screen 2. So type in the new equation. We're going to call it f of x equals a parentheses x plus k, h plus h, and then plus k, like that. This is vertex form. Notice how there is no b or c here. There's only an a value. Notice how there's no b or c. This is not standard form. This is vertex. Now look, a does the same thing as the previous one. What does h do? And what does k do? Make sense? All right, let me look at to see what you guys are up to. Okay. Cool. So what does k moves it up and down, h moves it left and right backwards, and a does the same as it always does. Makes it steep, makes it skinny. Okay. All right. In interest of your time that I'm trying to minimize, I want you just to learn for the sake of learning. What's the vertex? Let's click on press plus and press note. What is the vertex? Can somebody tell me the vertex? What is the x of the vertex? You have letters. So what's the vertex?
Negative h.
Negative h, comma what?
K.
K. There's our vertex. What's our axis of symmetry? The vertical line. X equals what? Before we had the middle, here, isn't it just going to be negative h? And then go ahead and make it dashed. What's the y-intercept? Well, at the y-intercept, what's always 0? The x or the y? What's always 0? And so the x is always 0, and then we're going to plug in 0. Same thing as we did on the other one, right? The same process. Make sense? Now the x-intercepts are this. And you're going to have to look at my screen because I'm going to do some algebra for you. And then we're going to type the equation, okay? Okay. All right, look at my screen. All right. So I changed the f of x to 0 because the y is 0. And I want x by itself, right? So I need to subtract k. Bye-bye, k. Now I have negative k equals ax plus h squared. Then I need to get rid of the a. I'm going to divide by a. Then I'm going to have negative k over a equals x plus this. Now I need to get rid of this. I need to get rid of the square. So I'm going to square root it. That's going to get rid of that. Then I'm going to have the square root of negative k over a equals x plus h. And I need to get rid of the h by subtracting h. So my x-intercept is negative h plus or minus the square root of negative k over a. So this is what we got to type into Desmos. So go ahead and put x1 equals, and then do the plus, and then x2 will equal the other. So go ahead and do that. Let me see if I can remember this. Negative h. I don't know. This is like some funky formula, right? So I'm going to go back and forth. Is that okay with you guys? So I'm going to say x1 equals negative h plus the square root of negative k. Oops, that's got to be inside this. SQRT negative k divided by a. Oops, but it has to be inside the square. So I might have to put parentheses so I can keep it inside the square root. Divided by, what was it again? A. Oops. Okay. This is kind of hard. There we go. All right, let's see if that worked. I'm going to bring this k down. Oh, then I have to actually put the point. It's going to be x1 comma 0. It worked. All right, so I'll leave this open so you can see for my x-intercept. So you might have to go back and forth, kind of like I had to do. Now, this is not a formula that I would expect you to memorize because I didn't even memorize it myself. But what I want you to understand is that to get the x-intercepts of vertex form, well, you just have to undo it. And then the other one, the x2 will be the same thing, but it'll be minus x2 equals, and then change this to a minus symbol. And then type in x2 comma 0. There we go. I got both of my x-intercepts now. If you don't see any x-intercepts, bring k negative, bring it down so the graph will be hidden. So I want you to start visualizing that all of these are placeholders for numbers, but the same thing will happen no matter what the number is. Let me close this. So let me look at somebody's. Good. Nice. Oh, nice. Good job, Sophia. You didn't need the parentheses, huh? How'd you do it without the parentheses? Let's see. It looks nicer without the parentheses. So if you wanted to get rid of the graph, like just take it off, you could see this. Basically, if you were doing this manually, these are the dots you'll get. These 4 dots. And from those 4 dots and our little step ladder, we can pretty much graph any function. Cool. All right, guys. So tomorrow we'll do the screen 3, and then I'll have you guys start practicing the next day, like manually. But before you do it manually, like old algebra, I want you to, visualize what the two look like. Okay. Yay. Make sure everybody's good. Okay, Claudia, you have. Let me see. Good. You got one. So then to get your other x-intercept, Claudia, you're going to do x1 equals this, but then just put a minus instead of the plus. So you just copy the whole thing. Put x1 equals, and you'll get the other x-intercept. Okay. All right, guys. Have a great rest of the day. tomorrow we'll do the other one, and then you guys will start doing calculations, and But before you calculate, I want you to see what we're doing. Okay? And all this will be saved for you. So tomorrow it'll be right here. All right. Amar, if you're still here, I think you might have left. Yeah, that's it. Have a good day, guys. Bye. Amar, this has to be -H in here.
Is this the only thing?
Yeah, today was more like an intro exploration, a visual, right? It was very visual, very but this is all we have for today. Okay.
So we don't have to turn anything in?
No, I'll get your, see how I have everybody's info right here? I have 60 people and I have this many right now. Later on, I'll get more, but they're going to have to watch it. They're going to have to listen to the recording in order to do this, right? For anybody who doesn't want to take IM3, they don't have to do this at all because this is kind of like, they could do it, but I just want them to pass the class and be done if that's what they want. So that's it.
Bye, Mr. Quinones.
Bye. Have a great rest of the day, guys. Adios. Let me close this off.